Hello student. Now we are at the verge of haloalkanes and haloarenes. So next and last point of this haloalkane and haloarenes regarding to our NCERT textbook is polyhalogen compounds. So this is a descriptive portion, so we can cover from our textbook because in our examinations of 12th, right? So most of the board examinations, the paper, they ask the certain type of short notes. So at that time we have to maintain such a type of language and such a type of concept. That's why this topic, which can be I cover with textbook modules, right? So what is this polyhalogen compounds? Carbon compounds containing more than one halogen atom are usually referred to as a polyhalogen compounds. Many of these compounds are useful in industries and agriculture. When some polyhalogen compounds are described in this section, it means that more than one halogen atoms are present in the compound is called as a polyhalogen compounds. So first we start with a dichloromethane, or sometimes it's called as a methylene chloride. The structure of methylene chloride we can write like that: CH2Cl2. It's dichloromethane or methylene chloride. How we prepare, because the preparations portion is not mentioned in our textbook, but for your knowledge, if methane, first chlorination of methane and second chlorination of methane gives this dichloromethane, or we have to reduce trichloromethane or chloroform, if we backward journey from chloroform, so definitely they form a dichloromethane. So here this dichloromethane is widely used as a solvent, as a paint remover, as a solvent and as a paint remover, right? Number two, as a propellant in aerosols, and a process solvent in the manufacture of drugs. So if we want to prepare such a type of drugs, so at that time it acts as a solvent too. So main role is a solvent. So this is the first point. What are the uses of dichloromethane? Once again, dichloromethane is widely used as a solvent, as a paint remover, and as a propellant in aerosols, and as a process solvent in the manufacture of drugs. It is also used as a metal cleaning and finishing solvent, right? Metal cleaning and finishing solvent. So it's a point number 2. So these 2 points are the uses of this dichloromethane. But what are the drawback for human system? What is the exposure of methylene chloride, right, who harms our human body? So methylene chloride harms the human central nervous system, means CNS. Exposure to lower level of methylene chloride in air, exposure to the lower level or small levels of methylene chloride in air lead to slightly impaired hearing, because it affects our because in our ear there are some balancing system. So this balancing system, they disturb this balancing system. So that's why lower levels of methylene chloride in air can lead slightly impaired hearing and vision too. Higher levels of methylene chloride in air cause dizziness, right, nausea, tingling and numbness in the fingers and toes, right? એટલે આપણે આમ કેવું હોય તો શું કહેવાય, ચક્કર આવવા, ઉલટી થવી, ઓલા હાથની આંગળીઓ ને બધા પગની આંગળીઓ જે છે એ અક્કડ થઈ જવી, બરાબર છે? સો ઇન હ્યુમન્સ ડાયરેક્ટ સ્કિન કોન્ટેક્ટ વિથ મિથિલિન ક્લોરાઇડ કોઝ ઇન્ટેન્સ બર્નિંગ and mild redness of the skin. This mild redness of the skin is due to the because inner portion of the skin having a steroid structure, so it's react with this steroid, and that's why it's a mild redness of the skin. Direct contact with the eyes can burn the cornea too, right? So the cornea of animal was damaged when exposed to the vapors of methylene chloride. So this is all about the dichloromethane. So there are 2 portions. One is the uses of dichloromethane, and what are the adverse effect in our human body. So now next point is trichloromethane or chloroform. We know that the structure of CHCl3 trichloromethane. So chemically, chloroform is employed as a solvent for fats, alkaloids, iodine, and other substance. Mainly use of chloroform is a solvent, right? So the major use of chloroform today is in the production of the Freon refrigerator R22. So what is the meaning of Freon? Is a chlorofluorocarbon, CFC, and various type of CFC that we have to study in our later portion. So Freon R20, it was once used as a general anesthetic in surgery, but has been replaced by less toxic, safer anesthetics such as ether. So as might be expected from its use as an anesthetic, inhaling chloroform vapors depress the central nervous system because it affects the central nervous system. Breathing about 900 ppm parts per million of chloroform, right, for a short time can cause a dizziness, fatigue, headache, right? So these are the symptoms when a lower amount of chloroform. Chronic chloroform exposure may cause damage to the liver because where chloroform is metabolized to the phosgene. Phosgene is a toxic gas. And to the kidneys, and some people develop sores when the skin is immersed in the chloroform. એટલે એમાં ઘા પડી જતા હોય તો એવું જ્યારે સ્કિનની અંદર જ્યારે એને ક્લોરોફોર્મમાં ડુબાડેલી હોય ત્યારે આવું થાય. Chloroform is slowly oxidized by air in the presence of light to an extremely poisonous gas. Carbonyl chloride is also known as phosgene, because in this case when your chloroform is reacted with oxygen in presence of light, we know that this light is a free radical. We favor the free radical mechanism, and these halogen, they are very photosensitive, so it's converted into COCl2. The structure of COCl2, which can be written in this manner too, COCl2, right? It's a phosgene and hydrochloric acid, and this phosgene is a highly toxic gas, right? So it is therefore stored in a closed dark color bottles completely filled so that air is kept out. So another option is like that. We have to because therefore stored in a closed dark color bottles to cut off light completely filled to the brim to the exclude air. But sometimes we have to add a 1% is also added, which destroys the traces of phosgene that may be formed in the storage. We have to use the alcohol, means C2H5OH. Okay, why? Because this C2H5OH, right, it's reacted with what? It's reacted with COCl2 and is converted into what? C double bond O, C2H5 O, C2H5. The name of this compound is diethyl carbonate, and it's a non-toxic compound. Clear? So these are the uses of chloroform, and what are the adverse effects of chloroform that we have to discuss. How we manufacture chloroform? Simple. Chlorination, first chlorination, second chlorination, and third chlorination of methane gives CHCl3, or the backward journey from CCl4 is also form a chloroform. Now we move to the triiodomethane. What is the meaning of triiodomethane? Triiodomethane means CHI3 is triiodomethane. So this iodoform was earlier used as an antiseptic, but due to this antiseptic is what for dressing wounds. So its antiseptic properties are due to the liberation of free iodine. When iodoforms come in contact with skin, but not due to the iodoform itself, due to its objectionable smell, unpleasant smell, right? So it has now been replaced by other formulation containing iodine. So in prior sessions, sometimes is that a tincture iodine is used for the dressing wounds. As a role of this tincture iodine is an antiseptic, but it's not due to its unpleasant smell. So nowadays it's replaced by the other formulation containing iodine. So now next is tetrachloromethane, carbon tetrachloride, CCl4, tetrahedral self sp3 hybridization. Even though CCl bond is polar in nature, but the whole molecule of CCl4 is non-polar in nature. It is produced in large quantity for use in the manufacture of refrigerants, propellants, and for aerosol cans. Mainly use of refrigeration and propellants for aerosol cans. It is also used as a feedstock in the synthesis of chlorofluorocarbon CFC and other chemicals. Pharmaceutical manufacturing and general solvent use. Until the mid 1960, it was widely used as a cleaning fluid, right? Both in industries as a degreasing agent and in the home as a spot remover and as a fire extinguisher. There is some evidence that exposure to CCl4 causes liver cancer in humans. The most common effects are dizziness, lightheadedness એટલે માથું હલકું થઈ જવું, nausea, vomiting, ઉલટી થઈ જવી, which can cause a permanent damage to the nerve cell, which can permanent damage to the nerve cell. In severe cases, this effect can lead rapidly to stupor, right? In severe case, right, it's stupor, coma, unconsciousness. Stupor means laziness, unconsciousness or death. Exposure to CCl4 can make the heartbeat irregularly or stop. So the chemical may irritate, right, the eyes on contact when carbon tetrachloride is released into the air. It rises to the atmosphere and depletes the ozone layer, because due to free radical reactions they depletes the decay of this ozone layer. So depletion of the ozone layer is believed to increase human exposure to ultraviolet rays, so leading to this increased skin cancer, eye disease and disorders and possible disruption of the immune system, right? So these are the lots of disadvantages that we have to observe in the case of this CCl4. Okay, so I think so you have a clear idea about the CCl4 and what are the uses of CCl4 and what are the disadvantages of CCl4. Now we move to the another point is the freons. We know that freons is sometimes called as an chlorofluorocarbon. Some other name is chlorofluorocarbon. What is the concept of this chlorofluorocarbon? Compounds of methane and ethane are collectively known as freons, right? They are collectively known as freons. These are further classified on the basis of the number of fluorinatum present in them. For example, if I having a CF4, so this CF4 is known as freon 14. If I having a CF3Cl is known as freon 13, right? If I have a CF2Cl2, so it's known as freon 12. Same way, if I having a CFCl3, so CFCl3 is called as a freon 11, right? So once again, the chlorofluorocompounds of methane and ethane are collectively known as freons. They are extremely stable, unreactive, non-toxic gas which is stable even at high temperature, right? Non-corrosive and easily liquidable gas. So therefore freon 12 is one of the most common freons in the industrial use. It is manufactured from tetrachloromethane by Schwarz reaction that we have to study in our prior portion. Due to SN2 reactions, with the help of these Schwarz reactions we can get a certain types of freons compound. These are usually produced to aerosol propellants, refrigerations and air conditions purpose. By 1974, total freon production in the world was about 2 billion pounds annually. Most freon, even that used in refrigeration, eventually make its way to the atmosphere, where it's diffused unchanged into the stratosphere, and in stratosphere freon is able to initiate radical chain reactions that can upset the natural ozone balance, that we have to study in our standard 11th unit number 14 environmental chemistry, right? So one topic which is regarding about the what are the drawback of this freon gas and how they decay the ozone layer. So this is all about the freons. Then last point is a DDT. The name of the DDT is para-dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane. First, you have to look the structure. So chlorine and chlorine, they are at the para and para position. So para-dichloro. This is diphenyl. Now trichloro and 2 carbon is ethane. So para-dichloro-diphenyl trichloroethane, right? DDT, first chlorinated organic substance, was originally prepared in 1873, but it was not until 1939 that Paul Muller of Gigi Pharmaceuticals in Switzerland discovered the effectiveness of DDT as an insecticide. Paul Muller was awarded the Nobel Prize in Medicine and Physiology in 1948 for his discovery. The uses of DDT increased enormously on a worldwide basis after World War II, primarily because of its effectiveness against the mosquito that spreads malaria and lice, that carries a typhus, actually a jeri tav che, it's a toxic fever. However, problems related to the extensive use of DDT begins to appear in the late 1940s. Many species of insects develop resistance to the DDT, and it was also discovered to have a high toxicity towards fish. The chemical stability of DDT and its fat solubility compound the problems. DDT is not metabolized very rapidly by animals. Instead, it is deposited and stored in the fatty tissues. If ingestions continues at a steady rate, DDT builds up within the animal over time. The use of DDT was banned in the United States in 1973, although it is still in use of some other parts of the world, and mainly in Asian countries, because DDT is still being widely used due to the non-ability of any other cheaper insecticides. And what are the drawbacks? Because nowadays in India, because this is the major problem. For example, if I out of the course, what are the problems that we have to face in DDT? Okay, તમે જુનાગઢ ગયેલા હશો. જુનાગઢમાં જે ગિરનાર પર્વત છે એમાં તમને ખબર હોય તો રોપવેનું કામ ચાલુ થઈ ગયેલું છે, પણ રોપવેના કામને કેટલા બધા વખતથી જે છે સેન્ટ્રલ ગવર્મેન્ટે જે તે સમયથી અટકાવેલું હતું, અને જે ગ્રીન ટ્રિબ્યુનલે પણ એને પરમિશન ગ્રાન્ટ નથી કરેલી. કેમ કે તમને ખબર તો એ શેષાવનવાળો રસ્તો છે, અને શેષાવનવાળા રસ્તામાં નીચે જે છે ને જ્યાંથી રોપવેનું સ્ટાર્ટિંગ થાય છે ને ત્યાં ગીધનું પ્રમાણ વધારે છે, અને ગીધ જે છે ને એ આપણે લુપ્ત થતી પ્રજાતિ છે. એ હમણાં બધી અત્યારે બહુ ઓછા સમયમાં ગીધ જે છે એ રહેશે નહીં. એઝ વી નો દેટ ઇન ધ કેસ ઓફ ફૂડ ચેઇન, જો ગીધ જ નહીં હોય તો આખી એક સાયકલને ડિસ્ટર્બ કરે છે. એટલે આ લોકો જે બાયોલોજિસ્ટ છે, જે એન્વાયરમેન્ટલ છે, કે એને થયું કે આ ગીધ અચાનક કેમ આ બધા મરી જાય છે અથવા આટલા બધા ઘટી ગયેલા છે. તો કે ગીધ જે સપોઝ કે તમને ખબર હોય તો એકચ્યુઅલી કોઈ પણ કાર્નોવેરસ એનિમલ્સ જે છે, જે કોઈ પણ પ્રાણીનો શિકાર કરે છે, રાઈટ, તો હવે એના બધા ડેડ બોડીઝ જે છે એ ખાઈને પછી બાકીનો જે રૂટીન પોર્શન હોય તો એ ગીધ જે વલ્ચર જે છે એનો ઉપયોગ કરતું હોય છે. હવે પ્રોબ્લેમ શું છે કે આ બધા જે પ્રાણીઓ જે હરણ છે કે બીજા બધા પ્રાણીઓ હોય નાના નાના, તો એ બધા ગ્રાસ ઉપર કે ટૂંકમાં એ વેજીટેરિયન રિસોર્સિસના રેફરન્સમાં હર્બીવરસ જે ટૂંકમાં એનિમલ્સ જે છે, હવે ઘાસ ને બધું છે ત્યાં ખેતરની અંદરના ઘાસ કે કોઈ પણ અન્ય ઘાસમાં ત્યાં DDTનો છંટકાવ કરેલો હોય. એટલે DDT જે છે ઇન્સેક્ટિસાઇડ્સ તરીકે, પેસ્ટિસાઇડ્સ તરીકે યુઝ કરેલું હોય, એટલે એના ટ્રેસીસ શેમાં આવ્યા? એનિમલ્સમાં આવ્યા. હવે એ એનિમલ્સ જે છે, આપણે વાત હમણાં જ થઈ કે એ મેટાબોલિઝ વેરી રેપિડલી બાય એનિમલ્સ, બટ એ છે ને શું થાય છે કે નોટ મેટાબોલ, એટલે એ ડિપોઝિટ થાય અને સ્ટોર થતા હોય ફેટી ટિશ્યુમાં. હવે એ કોણ ખાય છે? તો કે વલ્ચર ખાય છે. વલ્ચર જે છે ને એ આ વસ્તુને પૂરું કરી શકતું નથી, એટલે એનો ટપોટપ એનું મૃત્યુ થઈ જાય છે. હવે જો વલ્ચર ઘટી જાય તો આખી તમારી જે ફૂડ ચેનને જે આખી એક એની સાયકલ પૂરી કરવાની છે એ ડિસ્ટર્બ થઈ જાય છે. એટલે હવે તો અત્યારે એ લોકો પ્રયત્ન પણ એવો કરે છે કે વલ્ચરને કેમ પણ આ ડીડીટી તમને આશ્ચર્ય થશે કે અત્યારે એવું પણ કહેવામાં છે આપણે કે પણ ઘરે જે પોર્ટેબલ વોટર એટલે ડ્રિંકિંગ વોટરનો આપણે જે યુઝ કરીએ છીએ એની અંદર પણ ડીડીટીના બહુ વધારે પ્રમાણમાં ટ્રેસીસ મળે છે. ઇવન તો ત્યાં સુધી પણ કહેવામાં આવે છે કે જે લેડી છે કે જેને હમણાં જ એનું નાનું ન્યૂબોર્ન બેબી છે ત્યારે એને ટૂંકમાં ફીડિંગ કરાવતા હોય મિલ્કમાં, તો એ મિલ્કની અંદર પણ ડીડીટીના ટ્રેસીસ મળેલા છે. કારણ કે જે કંઈ પણ આપણે ફૂડ ઇન્ટેક લઈએ છીએ કે વોટર ઇન્ટેક લઈએ છીએ એની અંદર ખૂબ જ પ્રમાણમાં ડીડીટીનો અગાઉ પેસ્ટિસાઇડ્સ તરીકે ઉપયોગ થયેલો છે, એટલે આ યુઝ થાય છે. થોડુંક આજે તમે થોડુંક આ સબ્જેક્ટની બહાર ગયેલો છું, પણ તમને ખ્યાલ આવે કે વોટ આર ધ ડિસએડવાન્ટેજ. કેમ કે because these haloalkane and haloarine compounds in last sessions is connected with the red chemistry. How we convert red chemistry into green chemistry by means of this process or these biochemical reactions, right? So this is all about the haloalkanes and haloarines. Thank you very much.